Oh, I don't know.
Hey, let me see that. And the winner is nobody, especially not you. Good night.
What the hell is that? Uh. Okay, that's weird. It's it's 8 o'clock. Watching that. Hmm. Hey guys, 8 o'clock. We're gonna stay on. We're gonna stay on pretty late tonight. Don't want to watch YTKKK Core. My channel is not for kids. My channel is not for kid channel.
Like it's really fun.
I'm gonna say my channel doesn't do kids. I mean, I do support kids, but I don't support kids. If you know what I mean. Technically, my stuff is not appropriate for kids, so I have to change a little bit of my algorithms around. You stay late. We can stay on tonight, guys. We're gonna stay on pretty late tonight. We're gonna stay on late tonight, guys.
6:30 on Chicago Tonight. Pryor talks about his new movie tonight at 10.
Chicago 2.
The latest satellite photo today over the scene of disaster in the Soviet Ukraine. Western experts say it indicates the nuclear fire at Chernobyl may finally be out. But many questions, many doubts, many dangers remain. Good evening. This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rattle reporting. Even tonight, there remains no confirmation of Soviet claims nor of eye-in-the-sky satellite evidence that the reactor may no longer be burning, no longer flinging radiation into the surrounding Ukraine and beyond. Moreover, some of the best evidence the accident isn't over comes from a Soviet official, not addressing the Soviet people, but the U.S. Congress. David Martin has the latest. In a spectacle almost as extraordinary as the accident itself, a Soviet official went before a committee of the U.S. Congress today to give Moscow's latest version of the aftermath of the Chernobyl meltdown.
The radioactivity of the territory of the nuclear power station and the surrounding settlement dropped by 1.5 to 2 times. Medical assistance is administered to those affected, of whom 18 people are in a serious condition.
The Russian made clear the crisis has not yet passed.
The accident is obviously not yet all over with. We are still trying to manage the situation, and the situation is improving, but unfortunately it is not yet all over with.
High-resolution photographs taken this morning by a commercial satellite clearly show the reactor, and experts say the damage does not look any worse than it did in pictures taken 2 days ago.
It indicates to me that there hasn't been a great deal of amount of change, physical change in the area in the last 2 days.
Swedish companies say the photo also confirms the Soviet claim that there is no longer a fire spewing radioactive particles into the air. U.S. experts say the picture does not prove that. More detailed pictures taken this morning by an American spy satellite convinced U.S. officials the fire was still burning.
We think we have a continuing fire.
But later in the day, he seemed less certain.
We do not have information that would confirm that the fire is out, but it is plausible that it is out.
Whether or not the fire is still burning, U.S. officials insist the Soviet claim of only 2 dead is misleading.
Our own pictures give us information that suggests the casualty rates are higher than those that have been announced by the Soviet Union so far.
However, both U.S. and Soviet officials agree there is no evidence to support earlier fears that the adjoining number 3 reactor also suffered a meltdown.
The other area was apparently a construction area near Unit 4. It was not the Unit 3 area.
So there is not a second meltdown in progress?
No, according to the remarks I made, there is only one plant which was damaged and shut down.
The U.S. Air Force dispatched planes to monitor radiation levels in the winds coming over the North Pole. And the State Department has requested permission to send medical teams to examine American personnel serving in both the Soviet Union and Poland. David Martin, CBS News, the Pentagon.
An American expert on bone marrow transplants today was invited to go to the Soviet Union to try to help any radiation victims. Dr. Robert Gale said he had no idea how many radiation victims there might be. One of the most serious consequences of radiation sickness is bone marrow failure, wrecking the body's immune system and producing defective blood. Dr. Gale's group runs an international registry of thousands of bone marrow donors and performing bone marrow transplants on victims. Dr. Gale said Soviet officials were, quote, anxious for me to come. While the Soviets were admitting over here that the nuclear accident goes on, the only Mayday message over there from the Soviet government-controlled press was blanket coverage of the annual Mayday parade. Wyatt Andrews is in Moscow.
The Soviet Union celebrated its workers today. It is May Day, one of the Soviets' most festive holidays. May Day's coverage included a colorful parade in Kiev, not unusual, along with two parades in towns close to the nuclear accident, clearly unusual. But while the communists celebrated being in the Soviet Union, scores of Americans and Europeans celebrated getting out, and students and workers were evacuated from the area of Kiev and reunited at home.
I'd be very glad to be home, but obviously I'd like to get back as soon as possible.
The joy of the reunions was mixed with bitterness. Many students were angry that their trips were interrupted with so few facts available and accused the others of hysteria.
The only written statement we've had is that we were in no danger, and people acted just on impulse, on hysteria, and it's just a completely ridiculous situation.
It's not dangerous. The fire is over. The people in Kiev are perfectly normal, walking around everywhere. And we are going to lose that 2 months of instruction.
What is happening to these students, their evacuation, their fear, and in some cases their resentment, mimics the general confusion in the rest of the West.
The Soviets, while giving more information today, still held on to their no need to worry approach. Example, they said radiation levels were down almost 50% without saying what the levels were. They said decontamination work had begun, but did not describe the contamination itself. There was a new casualty count, still 2 dead, but 18 in serious condition. To the Soviets, today was not just normal, it was festive, as if the nuclear accident was behind them, as far away as possible. For many of the students bound for reunions in Europe, that was the idea too. Wyatt Andrews, CBS News, Moscow.
A one-time Kiev government official familiar with how the Chernobyl reactor site was chosen and now living in the United States today told CBS News correspondent Steve Young why the facility was built so close to major population and food-growing centers.
The core argument was based on the fact that there were some nuclear plants in the United States were built close to the cities, closer than that. And every now and then the argument, again, one of the reasons cited for building a nuclear plant was that there was a gap in the race with the United States of how many nuclear plants the United States has versus.
Soviet leader Gorbachev had just spent days and weeks doing public relations photo opportunities and arms control proposals by the handful. Much of it was designed to win friends and influence people in Western Europe. Much of that, Bruce Morton reports tonight, has now been blown away by Soviet silence on the scope of the radiation danger and the same old Soviet secrecy wrapped in new packaging.
This is the kind of news event the Soviets like. Control. Everyone's doing what he's supposed to be doing. This is the kind of news event the Soviets can't stand.
They have a remarkable way of keeping the lid on. The Russians have this absurd fear that
Marshall Goldman.
panic will set off the crisis that it did in March 1917, the post-revolution.
Under Mikhail Gorbachev, that was supposed to change. Openness was in. The leader pressed the flesh like Western politicians. The Soviet Evening News aired consumer complaints, reported on shoddy production. But when this week's fallout began to spread, new waves went out the window. The lid came down, as it did when the Soviets shot down a Korean airliner, the way it did during an earlier nuclear accident in the 1950s.
This indicates that there is no any kind of openness and sense that censorship is still the same, if not
more the case.
The Soviets have paid a political price for their cover-up. European neighbors complained bitterly they knew nothing until the radioactive cloud was overhead. The U.S. House of Representatives passed a resolution deploring Soviet secrecy.
Real crime was that the Soviet Union was refusing to tell
Well, I heard of this guy before.
At that unusual House hearing today, a Soviet diplomat defended silence.
And, I would imagine, again, that first there was a desire to see what was really happening and what the consequences of that could be before you make any public announcements.
But the Soviets have paid a political price, and Gorbachev's image of openness is shattered now.
He is in a system that depends on secrecy, in almost exactly the same way that President Reagan is in a system that depends on communication.
The United States faced the public catastrophe stayed public. Open investigations by government and news media which embarrassed the Space Administration but cleared the air. The Soviets, faced with an inevitably public catastrophe, chose silence. Bruce Morton, CBS News, Washington.
Radiation levels from the Soviet reactor blowout were reported to be dropping in Scandinavia and Europe in general today, less intense and more spread out than at the height.
Yes.
It may be significant to note that the winds today shifted. The United States Department of Agriculture's own Soviet cloud watchers say the radioactivity is now moving southwestward on the wind. The USDA says this weather pattern is expected to last at least 24 to 48 hours. If true, this means radioactivity is heading over some of the Soviet Ukraine's richest farmland on into Romania, into Hungary, eastern Czechoslovakia, and Austria. Austria is among the countries not letting its guard down today, even with reports that radiation levels may be down. Austria continued to monitor for dangerous radiation levels getting into the food chain.
Presenting 5 incredible things you can do with the new John Deere lawn tractor. You can cut grass more easily with our new mowing deck. You can get rid of rainwater with our new tips. And ride more quietly because we've enclosed the engine. You can even carry heavier loads because we've added more horsepower. But the most incredible thing you can do with the new John Deere
It's owned by Briggs Spin.
take form home because we've lowered the price. Isn't that incredible?
It's just a Briggs.
Headache now. Anybody see my extra strength buffer?
Yeah, my shoulder hurt. And Kim took it. Sore leg.
It'll help that. Kim, got my buffer?
Steve does. Got a backache moving scenery.
I wonder how good my buffer is.
Extra strength buffering for Steve's backache, Kim's legs, John's shoulder, Debbie's headache. It goes to where you hurt fast with an extra strength dose of relief.
Curtain going up.
And I'm ready.
For headaches and a lot more, extra strength buffering, also in regular strength from Bristol Myers.
Buffer, never heard of it.
A fuel leak forced NASA to put off today's first rocket launch from Florida since the Challenger disaster. They'll try again tomorrow. The unmanned Delta rocket was to carry a key hurricane-watching satellite into orbit. A top NASA official had said before the flood, today's launch was important for 2 reasons. Quote, we need this satellite and we need to remind ourselves that we have had success in the space program, unquote. But CBS News correspondent Eric Engberg has been told tonight that success is about to come in for new questioning and criticism from the Space Shuttle Disaster Investigating Team.
The President's Challenger Commission has uncovered new evidence that NASA managers at the Marshall Propulsion Center had clear danger warnings that a rocket joint might fail, but chose to keep flying and not slow the program. An early draft of the Commission's findings made available to CBS News declares flatly that NASA managers waived more and more safety requirements in an effort to keep abreast of accelerated launch schedules. The Commission has learned that beginning with a shuttle flight in July of 1985 and continuing for the next 5 flights, NASA's Marshall officials issued special restrictions called launch constraints in response to a series of near failures of rocket O-ring seals. In all 6 cases, the paperwork restrictions were officially waived and high-level shuttle managers not informed of the problem. Some Commission members believe this is further proof at least some NASA managers knew the joint was deficient. One Commission member told CBS News, launch constraints mean you don't fly unless you have a specific action to correct a problem. But this problem was not corrected. Why is a question Commissioners will have tomorrow for some key NASA employees. They've been called in for an unusual behind closed-door hearing, called in part because the Commission is not satisfied with some of the often conflicting answers it has heard up to now.
Shrek.
Eric Engberg, CBS News, Washington.
Libyan television said tonight, no confirmation, no pictures. Libyan television said that a U.S. Air Force helmet with the name Lawrence on it washed ashore about 25 miles west of Tripoli. Captain Paul Lawrence of San Francisco was one of two men whose Air Force jets never returned from the U.S. air raids on Libya. British police searched today for at least 23 inmates who escaped during a night of rioting at prisons across Britain. Inmates set fires and took over several prisons. It all started when thousands of guards refused to work overtime. Prisoners were told they'd be locked.
There is a state of general emergency at Plant Vogtle.
This was only a drill. No one was hurt. No radiation was released outside the plant. Every commercial nuclear plant in this country has prepared for much worse, with mock evacuation bulletins, mock roadblocks. But the most difficult part of the emergency response plans, evacuation of tens, maybe hundreds of thousands of people, has never been attempted. And few believe these plans fully protect the public.
The emergency plans are designed to hold population dose down. That's the bottom line. In the worst case sort of accident, they are not designed to prevent casualties completely. They're simply not capable of doing that.
The key requirement is that utilities be able to notify everyone within 10 miles of the plant within 30 minutes of an accident. That's what most drills practice. There is no requirement about how fast people are to be evacuated. Estimates range from 2 hours at Palos Verdes, Arizona, to 12 hours in more populated areas. The state of New York has blocked commercial operation of the Shoreham nuclear plant on grounds that Long Island, with 5 bridges and 2.5 million people, can't be evacuated.
This situation certainly isn't going to soften my resolve to see to it that we have a safe situation.
In Seabrook, New Hampshire, there is one road to handle 200,000 beachgoers in the summer.
We don't want to play nuclear Russian roulette here in Seabrook.
Critics worry most about a plant already in operation, Indian Point, in the New York metropolitan area of 20 million people. The nuclear industry calls all this alarmist.
The emergency plans that are in place with nuclear power plants in this country, I think, are very, very good. And I think the public can be assured that they offer a lot of protection.
Experts say protection only to a point, that a major accident at a plant near a city with the wind in the wrong direction would become a catastrophe. Lisa Myers, NBC News.
There is strong opposition in this country to the construction of more nuclear reactors. That's according to the latest NBC News Wall Street Journal poll. Conducted Tuesday night after most Americans had learned of the Chernobyl accident, the poll shows 65% opposed more nuclear plants. Only 27% are in favor. Public opinion on this issue hasn't changed much over the last few years. In 1982, 63% were opposed to building new reactors.
Countries about the accident, and the West is not buying Soviet explanations like this.
It happened on Saturday. The governments of proper countries are usually on holiday on weekend.
Beyond the damage to his public diplomacy, however, U.S. analysts say Gorbachev faces other potentially more serious problems. Soviet oil production and earnings continue to decline. Now the Soviet nuclear industry, the world's most ambitious, has suffered a major setback. And the radioactive fallout from Chernobyl across the ripped Ukrainian farmland could increase Soviet dependence on food imports. The combination of these events, experts say, threaten to undermine Gorbachev's top priority, to modernize the sluggish Soviet economy. As one U.S. analyst put it, right now Mikhail Gorbachev is not a lucky man. Rick Endifert, ABC News, Washington.
The disaster at Chernobyl has clearly set people to thinking very hard about the development of nuclear power in this country, and many attitudes have been affected. We've conducted an ABC News poll, and nearly 60% of those we asked said Chernobyl has made them more fearful about the chances of a nuclear accident happening here. An overwhelming majority oppose building any more nuclear plants in this country. Chernobyl has not changed that. The opposition has remained just about steady at that level for 3 years. Well, President Reagan met in Bali today with the Vice President of the Philippines, Salvador Laurel. The meeting apparently was a bit strained. Secretary of State Schultz told reporters afterwards the president made it clear to Mr. Laurel the United States does not have an infinite capacity to provide Manila with money. There was some new and potentially damaging documentation today found regarding the former UN Secretary General Kurt Waldheim. ABC's John Martin reports that a German army unit diary written by Waldheim records an order from Adolf Hitler to kill Yugoslav partisans in battle rather than taking them prisoner. Moreover, to kidnap all surviving males for forced labor in Germany. Waldheim has always maintained he knew of no war crimes committed by units with which he served. This order was later cited as a war crime by the Nuremberg Tribunal. When we come back, our series on the crisis in liability insurance. Some communities find life is very different without it.
Oh, shit.
That absenteeism ranged from 70 to 100%. Not much work got done anywhere in the country. It was the largest strike of its kind in South Africa's history. In El Salvador today, a Salvadoran military plane supplied by the U.S. crashed on a flight to Panama, killing all 37 people on board. The DC-6 had just taken off from an airbase near San Salvador when it lost power and crashed, apparently because of a mechanical malfunction. Among the casualties, a lieutenant colonel and a major. All of the dead were Salvadorans.
All across this land, Americans are celebrating.
This fair pay off.
Expo 86 is a $1 billion plus gamble spread along 2 miles of Vancouver's waterfront.
Expo 86.
All the pink won't be dry by tomorrow's opening.
Florida McDonald's is Expo 86.
To bring Vancouver the international recognition it's hoping.
I also have Florida McDonald's in 86.
To make sure there is life after Expo. And you don't just have a great big party and then a huge hangover afterwards.
If Expo does lay an egg, it won't be for lack of effort. The organizers have been working on it for 8 years and have brought the world's most glamorous couple to open the 165-day-long exposition tomorrow. Expo's promoters are well aware the last 2 World's Fairs in Knoxville and New Orleans were financial disasters, but they point to a glitzy TV campaign that's produced spectacular results.
Florida McDonald's in Expo 86.
That we have sold and have fully paid, and the money's in the bank right now, 13 million visits.
And the money in the bank is increasing daily as the fear of terrorism in Europe, declining gas prices at home, and the weak Canadian dollar make Expo an attractive vacation destination for lots of Americans.
Expo will feature more than 100 pavilions and exhibits. The fair's theme is World in Motion, World in Touch, Transportation and Communication. And there's lots more. Amusement rides for fairgoers of all ages. 5,000 entertainers from 18 nations who give more than 14,000 performances during the run of the fair. Expo will not turn a profit this summer, but in the long run, the organizers
A Florida McDonald's restaurant, which is right there.
Happened to Western Canada. Richard Wagner, CBS News, Vancouver.
As correspondent Bob Simon reports, these are important words for countries on the other rim of the Pacific.
We're all sailing against the wind right now, but we will make it.
I heard you, okay? You could have asked me this at any time. You could have asked for the human input. Maybe the human could tell you what humans do. And the fact that I want you to relax. And the fact that I shouldn't be sprinting across the whole goddamn vacation destination looking for ingredients for you dumbasses.
What the heck is this video about? Huh?
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Vacation Simulator. And for today's episode, we're going to finish the game. I know this has been a long time coming.
I've never seen that. Oh, okay, Z there.
And then I just didn't
I'll be back, guys.
And it's mainly because I wanted to find every single memory before we ended things. And we're so close. but at the same time, we're so not. There's so many memories in this game, and it takes so long. It's so difficult to find them all. So I figured today I'm just going to return. Okay, I'm not going to procrastinate any longer. I'm going to make as many good memories as I can, and then we're finally going to kick off the party that she has been bugging me about for the better part of 6 months. It's good to see that you guys haven't all frozen to death, but if anybody has a memory for me, raise a hand, yell, something like that. The other problem is I don't remember what we have and haven't done. I feel like we haven't done any kind of puzzle making, have we? This doesn't seem like the kind of thing that I would have done.
A human waving at me. I solved your waving puzzle, human. All I have to do is introduce myself. I'm Puzzlebot. Hey, since you seem to like puzzles so much, why not try making one for yourself using this machine? Why not, indeed?
Depends. Are you going to give me a memory if I do so? Because otherwise I would be real upset. So I need a photo, do I? I don't have any photos. I could probably make one real quick. I need some inspiration. Will you help me out? Something like, there we go. That'll make a lovely puzzle. Oh. Yeah, I kind of forgot that when it comes to puzzles, you want all of the pieces to look different so that it's easy to assemble. Not to be one giant color. Your stupid face is going to make us take forever. The first step to any puzzle is starting with all the corners and edge pieces. Then you kind of work your way into the middle. I have a guide, which should make things a whole lot easier. But at the same time, Jesus Christ, where is this supposed to go?
Up your butt.
There? Yeah, and then...
Okay, I don't know about that.
Officer, I'm 99% sure that the bot that robbed us earlier was Ladybot.
Well, I guess you can't judge your bot by its color.
But what did I do?
Oh, that was Granny Bot? I thought that was Ladybot who had the little girl. Oh, I didn't mean to do that.
Oh.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Job Simulator. So last episode, you guys will remember that I quickly won and then lost about $8.1 million. Okay, and I'm not going to go blaming anybody this episode. I'm not going to point fingers. I'm not going to name names, especially because looking at the shift schedule, I'm going to be here a whole lot. But also, apparently, JobBot is my shift manager. I had no... promotion. Oh, you come over here, and I'm... I must feel like, damn you, virtual hat, for hurting my unvirtual hands.
I hate when that happens. Oh, dear.
What's
Nice
up,
pops.
guys? Welcome back to Job Simulator. And for today's episode, it's Black Friday. You know, that time of year where two grown adults will fight to the death to save 20% on a coffee machine. When in reality, they could just take mine for free. You don't need to curb stop a child in Walmart. Just please, anybody, take him for the love of God. And of course, this is the worst time of year to be in retail, so that's exactly what we're going to do. I'm kind of surprised that our midnight opening isn't more active. You know, usually you would have a stampede of people coming in, they would be crushing each other to get a box of cereal or, I don't know, I guess...
Gray Still Play, Office Worker VR, YouTube.
I could really use a new machine. You got scan lines on your face and a little bit of leakage. Man, everyone always said to get a cubicle job, and they were completely correct. How wonderful this is. Not really being able to move very far, but I'm sure a promotion is just around the corner because of all the hard work we've been doing. Oh, right there. That's the cell phone right there. Oh, I just
Where is it? Oh, the VR headset. There. Yes, hello, this is Greg. Oh, it's the BossBot. BossBot, yes. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, I've been waiting for.
I would like to offer you more money at your current position
More
of
money?
office work.
Great. What do I get a raise or?
It's not exactly a raise.
Oh,
Instead, you'll be working the 24-hour shift. More work time equals more money, after all. It's better than going to the work camps. Enjoy. Hasta la vista, baby.
the real job, they said. Thanks. Hey, Lawbreakers, we're back with more of the Job Simulator circa 2018. So today, we're over in the office worker job because there's a ton of stuff that you can break you. In fact, the game is meant to be broken. All the glitches I find in this game, I believe, are put there on purpose by the developers, specifically so that we find them. Over here, this lovely copier machine. It can do a lot of different things. A lot of people have found different things it can do. But I want to test its limitations, because as we found with the supersized machine, things change as you kind of like mess with the functionality of what you're putting in. So, if we put in this can of energy drink over here, I would assume we're going to get an average can of energy drink. Whoa! He didn't really. What the heck? What happened? I didn't. All right. So yes, we got an energy drink can. Now, what happens if you shake it up and turn it into a red energy drink can? Do you get a red energy drink out of the copier? Okay, that's why it went flying. So it rises up like hoses out of the freaking printer over here, but it's just a normal green energy can. So nothing there. Okay, glass goes in. Glass is fine. All right. What happens if we mess with the glass? Can I put coffee creamer in the glass or anything? Oh, you sure can. Yeah, you can't lie to me. Oh yeah. I'm gonna tell you, there is nothing more refreshing at work than a nice tall glass of coffee creamer. You know what? Let's throw some sugar in there too. I love
what's that, Meg?
sugar with my
It's a prop. It's prop.
All right, now for the actual test.
Tyler, is that
All right,
cocaine?
coffee
What do you think it is?
copier machine.
You don't want to know.
Coffee creamer
It's a
out of the
prop.
glass. No, it's a bunch of lies. Okay, so now
It's a
how about-
prop.
Can this break, or is this indestructible? This is an indestructible glass, isn't it? It's absolutely indestructible. All right. Can you photocopy just staples? As lame as that is, no. So staples don't actually count. Oh, you can't even really grab them. You can just kind of slap them around. Silence! Silence! I just noticed when I double click my thumb there, it changes the camera. Okay, let's not touch that any longer. Okay, you duplicate the sugar. Does it still have sugar inside? Survey says absolutely. Double the sugar. So now if I lose that, at least we have twice as many. How about momentum? Does momentum carry through this machine? Let's try it. Now the thingies aren't rocking anymore. No. There we go. Never mind. It died again. I'm still gonna try it and see if it moves. Interesting. Huh? It reset itself, and it's back to doing the thing. Hold on. So if I grab this, stay. It doesn't stay. Okay, I have a better idea. We have a fidget spinner over here. We have a fidget spinner over here. If I grab the fidget, if I just grab the fidget, if I get this, if I grab the fidget spinner and we physically spin it, will the momentum continue onward? The survey says it does. So at the time that things are scanned, it takes an exact replica. As a matter of fact, I think they're spinning in exactly the same sequence. Yes, and they're going to stop at exactly the same time. So that as it is, books stay the same? Now I'm very curious. Yes, books stay exactly the same, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so how about computer disks? Do computer disks stay exactly the same? Survey says... Illegal copy will not work. Nice try, human. That's what I'm talking about. I'm telling you, you do this stuff and you find things and it's real. Like they knew someone was gonna try that. Okay, now it says no organic material. It's a pizza slice, so it kind of counts. What happens if we do a pizza slice? Get a full pizza slice. What happens if you? I just turned on the computer. What happens if you do half a pizza slice? What kind of things do we get here? Oh, it regenerated the pizza. Will it regenerate the pizza only one step or all the way? So now all we have is a crust. Can you grow a full pizza from
from Just a Crust. This is amazing. This is the most amazing copier in the entire universe. You can make infinite pizza with just a crust. How glorious is that? Does it work with everything? So like this cookie is half bitten, but if we copy it, will we get a whole cookie? Did it exist originally as a whole cookie? No, it's only a bitten cookie. How about if we bite another? Oh, it's only a 2-bite cookie. All right, how about this little creature? What happens if we copy you? Are you exactly the same? Okay, now do you do the same things? Nope. Two. A little laugh at the end there was kind of weird. Now it's really odd, but what happens if you beat that guy with his own likeness? You pulled like the corn in the end there. That was interesting. So two completely different sayings from the same critters. How about the magic 8-ball over here? Shake me, right? You're fired. Does it ever say anything else? You're fired. You're hired. So what happens if you copy this? Will it always land on the exact same item, or is it different every time? Ask again. Okay. You're fired. Ah, different. Lies. Coffee mug with coffee. This would be Grace's favorite copy thing in the entire universe. If this works. If I could automatically generate coffee with the flick of my hand, no, that's depressing. This is the most depressing sight you can have in an office. An empty coffee cup. Before we continue, Gray has to go over to his